Good evening. I was actually going to go live at 10:13, but wouldn't you know it, my finger on the trigger. We're facing northwest, northwest. And I wanted to say shout out to Prideless Chicks channel. Everyone check out Prideless Chicks. I agree with everything that you said about the plant medicine. I watched your whole video, and I have to admit I was pretty skeptical at first, but then I listened, patience, be still and know that I am God. It's from scripture. And patience myself. Like me and Boxer, we just, before I digress, but had a really nice meal. And not to be in a rush, my dogs, that old saying, monkey see, monkey do. If I'm in a hurry, they're in a hurry. And Boxer, bless her heart, she ate too many bones the other night, and she'll wake up and she has to regurgitate them, you know. And I'm not worried about the mess. I just don't want her to be sick. She's an angel. And God bless the meat that I eat. But I just started saying my prayers, no joke, before every meal, and I'm blessed. And I wanted to say, no joke, actually, Sri Gary Olson, Master Path, the cult that I broke out of, he says the same thing, that God uses fear. God uses love, not fear, right? So it gets tricky when demons are trying to imitate Christ, right? And Christ even said, there'll be many that come in my name saying I'm this and that, right? And there's an old saying about the Buddha. If you're on the trail and you run into someone and they say, I'm the Buddha, then you kill them. Now I won't kill anyone. Excuse me. Had a delicious pork chops. I'm blessed. Now I don't want to kill anyone, but I'm definitely going to defend my life, and my body's a temple, not a rental. To quote John Hooks, Illuminati Congo, Rastafarians are the original Christian. But anyway, not to digress. The whole thing on plants, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. And who am I? But I agree 100%. Don't, and the plants have taught me this, the truffles, and all roads lead to Christ. My 2 cents, what I've found. It's not about this plant or that plant. Who created the plant? Yeshua, Adonai. And Adonai, look that up. Sacred term, for my Lord. Yeshua, Joshua, can feel it right now. And it's not it. I can feel I'm facing north. It's funny. It's on my bed, right? I guess my compass was off because when I move my bed, it's not actually facing north. We're facing north right now. This is north. Never eat soggy waffles. uh, but the sun rises in the south, so there ain't nothing wrong with the south. We all love the sun. So never eat, it's hard to remember it, soggy waffles. I'll eat some soggy waffles, though. Enough maple syrup, brown sugar. Anyway, so north, west. We're facing northwest. And it's funny because listening to Dick Gregory, shout out to Dick Gregory, rest in power. He said, if you have a baby in the crib, it'll automatically find north. You put the baby in the crib, leave the room, it'll automatically, and we're not automatons, robots, but we are in tune with the earth, and there's a certain sequence, math. I never really liked the math I was being taught in high school, but there are sacred things, terms to derive from math. Everything is sacred because God created. So back to the plants and stuff before I digress. A lot of these people are, I meant to talk about this because this really rubs me the wrong way. And I hate to see lies and cults and bullshit. And they're saying kava and kratom, which has been used for centuries. And I have books on this right here. If you wanna know about, if you think you know everything, why don't you read this book and then get back to me? Because I'm reading it too. Okay? I'm learning more and more about plant medicine as well. But you got all these people talking about kava and kratom, and at one time I didn't know about kava and kratom, but they're blaming all this stuff on kava and kratom, all this fear mongering. Let's just take opium poppy, for instance, the coca leaf, right? These are destructive plants, in my opinion. I've tried coca leaf raw before, and it's just like cocaine. There's 8 other alkaloids. I believe 9 total alkaloids in the coca plant, and it is a drug. And everything is toxic. Some things have a different LD50. LD50 is the amount of rats it takes to kill these poor rats. But anyway, don't blame Mother Nature. No one told you to bottle up plants and process them and said that was okay. You know what I mean? Synthesize them. And then shout out to Prideless Chicks. Another great point. There's all kinds of, bullshit. The devil's brew in these energy drinks. It's not the ingredients. What it says is what, like Sri Gary Olson Master Path. He's a straight demon, and he had me convinced for years that he was God, But it's not the plants. And you don't have to listen to me, but these plants are sacred. They've been used for centuries. But some plants you don't mess with, like, the coca leaf, poppy. Just because God created something doesn't mean that we need to go over there and start eating it. And then, when something does happen, when we get poisoned, then we blame the plant. How does that make any sense? Did the plant, I don't see kava, you know what I mean? And if you're going to get your plant medicine, get it raw, bulk. I'm not going to advertise. I don't want to get in trouble. YouTube gets all hurt. But this is kratom. Nothing but kratom. I didn't see no sign on the kratom tree, Ooh, what is it called? True bliss or some bullshit. You know what I mean? The true bliss, the true anything. All roads lead to Christ. These are all upayas. Upaya is I believe it's Hindu or Sanskrit term, but it's a bridge to get you from here to God, to communicate with God. And a lot of people think I'm crazy. That's fine. But look at how hard, if you think I'm crazy, look at what everyone in the social media is doing. Look at how hard they're working on their evil smut. If the devil's working this hard, the evil power, call it what you want, is working this hard, you know what I mean? And that's all, folks. So have a great mother bugging night. Don't blame the plants. Keep God out of your wars. Keep God as God. You know what I mean? All right. God bless. Adonai. Rastafari. Thanks for tuning in.